Welcome to everybody to my latest video, in which I'm going to be looking at some Tri-ang coaches which have been in the catalogue since 1963-64 and were part of the train sets for the Caledonian single locomotive. Now, these coaches re-emerged again in the mid-70s, this time in this rather attractive maroon livery, and quite a fairly decent attempt to get some lining out onto the carriages in a way which could be conducive with mass production and not an awful lot of expense which would be required back in those days to have something very, very detailed. Now, I've had these coaches a long time, and they languished for quite a while, up until about the early 2000s, when I got the Midland compound in its smart LMS maroon livery, and I decided, well, I could do something with these coaches. They looked very good behind it. However, I was not entirely satisfied with the end result, and the first thing I did was to get rid of the black roof and paint them silver, which I thought would be a better representation of LMS coaches, particularly when they were first built and when they went in for overhaul. However, again, as is my wont with old Tri-ang, or Rovex Tri-ang as they were at the time, they had this terrible habit of raising everything off the base, off the chassis. There would be a huge gap between the bogies and the actual coach sides and chassis. Now, that was something I couldn't abide at all. So I got rid of them, and I managed to get some chassis with the lowered pivot to enable the bogies to be quite close up to the chassis. The other thing I noted was that the roofs were had actually been updated in the 1990s when Hornby were sort of remarketing the old Mark I coaches, and one of the things that they improved upon was the actual realism and the accuracy of the coach roof detail. And you can see that there's the ventilators, the vents on top of the roof are actually more pronounced, and gave the coach a much better look. So the only thing that's actually original from these 1975 maroon Caledonian coaches are the coach sides. Having gone so far with them, I then decided what I would do was actually do some detailed painting on the bogies, and that amounted to, in the main, painting the actual wheel hubs maroon and the tyres silver. So I thought that would give them an extra lift. I also did a little bit on the axle boxes and the springing, which I had seen on some coaches. Now, whether they were Western coaches or LMS coaches, I cannot remember, but I do remember seeing like a blue on that style of leaf spring bogie. So yes, it still remains in essence the British Railways Mark I coach chassis, but with those lovely Caledonian sides with the lining out on them. Now, regular viewers to my videos will have seen that I've had these up on quite a few occasions. So what I wanted to do was compare them now with a recent set of coaches that I've bought, which are also Caledonian, and these are from some recent sets. These are, I don't know, 5 or 6 years old, although I bought them new or new other, which hadn't really been used, but I don't know when they first came onto the market. And what we can see straight away with these is that there's a much higher level of detailed accuracy to the finish and the sides and the lining on these coaches, I think they look fantastic. Now, you know, I'm fully aware that these are not accurate representations of most of the LMS coaches that were running around on the system. Whether they were, you could see them much more prominently in Scotland, with it being the Caledonian Railway, I don't know. But I suspect that they tended to spend most of their time north of the border. Interestingly, what Hornby've done on these, again, is they've not actually utilised the more detailed, accurate roof that I've applied to the earlier one. They still retain the original roof when these coaches were first made in the mid-1960s for the Caledonian single. However, much to my relief and much to my approval, they haven't replicated the huge distance between the bogies and the chassis. That's been closed off altogether. So that was a sense of relief to me when I saw that. Now, again, these interestingly, these roofs, when they came in the set, were painted brilliant white, matte white, but very, very distinctive. So, as in the previous coaches the previous coach that I just showed you, I painted this one. I painted these silver, and again, I think it actually shows up the body panelling to a much better degree. What I'd like you to do is to look at some of the the detail, the way the lining around the windows has been applied. So you've got the rather dark maroon, a lovely representation of the figures and numbers, but I don't know if you can see inlaid in that between the windows is a black livery. So we've got the maroon, we've got the golden yellow lining, and we've also got a black as well. And again, it does look lovely. I think these are really nice coaches to look at. Fortunately, moving along, I'm able to match them with a period 1 LMS dining car, one of those fantastic ones that originally were tooled by Airfix but never saw the light of day, as far as I can tell from Airfix, but they did emerge under Daypol. This one is a Daypol one. The tooling eventually passed on to Hornby, but again, this obsession with raising the coach body off the bogies was another fault in my book anyway, which had to be rectified. So as you can see, that the chassis is well hunkered down onto those 6-wheel bogies, and I think it then enables these things not to stick out like a sore thumb, because it would be literally sort of up here compared to the next coaches, and I'm surprised if anyone sort of finds that good to look at. But just focusing a little bit more back on this Daypol 6-wheel LMS dining car, it's got the Daypol applied the earlier lining to the coach, so it does match the lining somewhat with these Caledonian coaches, as you can see. One of the drawbacks on the Daypol one is that the windows are a little bit on the opaque side, but I have painted inside, so you can actually see the white tables. They do stand out, which looks rather good. Just reverting back to the reasons why they have the coaches were originally manufactured with the bodies pivoted high above the bogies was probably to do with going around corners and everything. I can assure you, and we'll see it run in a moment, that there is no problem in lowering the and modifying the bogies so that they are matching the correct height that they should be. So I just don't understand this obsession that the manufacturers had back in the day of raising everything off the rails. But as you can see, that does improve the look of that coach. And again, what we're looking at, if we move along here, is the other side of these coaches. And again, I painted the roof silver, and again I also painted the wheel hubs maroon and painted the tyres silver. So again, it gives a bit of added extra interest to the look and finish of these coaches. Anyway, there it is. What we'll do now, we'll get them running around, and you can see for yourself how these look in formation. I've got a Duchess, City of St Albans in LMS black livery. I don't know if we can get around to see it, but you'll see it going around anyway. And I'll just remove the earlier coach from the track because I've got some other trains that will be running around as well. So, without any further ado, let's get these up and running.